Good morning, grade 6. Welcome to our English class. If you are all settled down, let's begin our lesson. All right. So, today we will continue our lesson about the figures of speech. Remember, we learned about the three first figure of speech, which is the irony, personification, and hyperbole, right? So today we will continue learning about three more: alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Okay? So these three figures of speech are also called sound devices. Authors use various techniques in their literary pieces. So, sound devices is one of their techniques. So, let's begin with alliteration. What is alliteration? How can using alliteration make me a better writer? So, alliteration is the use of repetitive letter sounds to create a poetic element when writing. It is derived from Latin's latera, which means letter of alphabets. It is stylistic a device, which a repetition of a consonant sound in the beginning of the words. So, alliteration is also known as tongue twister. We have here an example: the tongue twister, which has overuses of alliteration, like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. She sells seashells by the seashore. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So as you notice, this example of tongue twister are constantly repeating a consonant letter. So, as you see in this tongue twister, the consonants are in red and diagrams are in yellow. Alright, so alliteration are also used by many authors like Dr. Seuss, who wrote many books using alliteration in order to help the children to read or to learn reading easily. Okay, so we also have John Milton, Emily Dickinson, Edgar Allan Poe, Maya Angelou, Robert Frost, who love using alliteration to make their literary works looks better and help their reader in understanding their literary pieces. So, grade 6, we have here Miss Maya Angelou, who used alliteration in her work, The Caged Bird. Okay, let's read together. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds off through the shining trees. She used here a repetition of consonants B, T, and S and made her work more interesting. It has perfect rhyme and the sound is so pleasing, right? So, alliteration are not only used in literary works, but also in many different stores or hotels that we have. For example, Best Buy, Chuck and Cheese, Red Roof Inn, Rack Room Shoes, and Dunkin' Donuts. Okay? We can also see alliteration with some of our favorite food or snacks like Captain Crunch, Krispy Kreme, Minute Maid, Kit Kat, and Coca-Cola. So, the Krispy Kreme, which has the repetition of the consonant letter K, and Minute Maid, which has the consonant letter M, and Kit Kat, which has letter K, Coca-Cola, and Captain Crunch, which has the repetition of the consonant letter C. Alright? So, business owners use alliteration to name their product so that the customers can easily remember the name of their product and also can easily pronounce. It is also one way of getting the attention of the reader or their customers. Okay? All right, so grade 6, you have to remember that alliteration is the use of repetitive letter sounds when writing. So we have here the uses of alliteration. First is generate rhythm. Second one is the highlight certain words. Next is create a mood of tone and make writing funny or more interesting. So those are the uses of alliteration in our literary works. All right. If in alliteration we have the repetition of the consonant sounds, in assonance we have the repetition of the vowel sounds. So the repetition of vowel sounds usually at the beginning of successive words. Assonance is one such literary device where the vowel sounds are repeated to create an internal rhyming within the sentence or phrases. Okay? Okay, we have here example. Some people order old furniture from antique stores. This sentence has the repeating O sound. Amy actually arrived on time. So this sentence has the repeating A sound. Okay, let's have more example of assonance. In the summer, ice cream is incredibly irresistible. The members of clubs wear unique uniforms. So we have here the repetition of the I sound in the first example. And next example, we have the repetition of the vowel or the letter U. So those are the example of assonance. Remember, assonance does not require that words with the same vowel sounds be directly next to each other. So it occurs so long as identical vowel sounds are relatively close together. So as you see, they don't need to be next to each other. It can be in the part of the sentence or the word. So here we have an example of a poem written by Kelly Roper. So in poetry, assonance is common use as well. Let's read together. The Cold Wind Blows by Kelly Roper. Who knows why the cold wind blows, or where it goes, or what it knows? It only flows in passionate throes until it finally slows and settles in repose. So as you see, it has the repetition of the vowel sound O or letter O. And remember that assonance can also position anywhere within the word. Okay? Alright, so we're done with the two. Let's now proceed to the last one. So, what is onomatopoeia? So, the word onomatopoeia comes from the combination of two Greek words. One is name and the other one is I make. Alright? So, onomatopoeia literally means the name or sound I make. That is to say that the words mean nothing more than the sound it makes. So, here is the meaning. Onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound of the object or action the author mentions in the story or in a story. So, it is a type of word that sounds like what is being described. Okay, so what is the purpose of onomatopoeia? So, most of the time, words are used to tell what is happening, right? But with onomatopoeia, it helps readers to hear the sound of the words they are thinking of. It can add excitement, action, interest to make the story more interesting. So basically, it is describing something you heard by the way it sounds. It can add excitement, action, and interest by allowing the reader to hear and remember your writing. So we have here some examples of an onomatopoeia. Remember, onomatopoeia is the use of words that create the sounds they describe. It is often easier to define an event, action, or organism by relevant noises rather than describing it. So here are 10 examples of an onomatopoeia used in a sentence. First is, I could hear their buzzing, so I knew there was a bee's nest around here somewhere. The steaks sizzled on the barbecue. The dog sniffed the air, he could smell meat. Shh! No talking in the library, please. The magician waved his wand and poof! A rabbit appeared. The pig squealed. I couldn't sleep. All I could hear was the drip, drip, drip of the broken faucet. I listened to the rustle of the leaves in the trees and I knew autumn had arrived. The loud boom of the fireworks scared my pet. Yuck! That cheese stinks. Alright, grade 6. You may also include onomatopoeia to add humor to a poem or story and make your reader laugh. Okay, let's read one of the example of onomatopoeia in a poem. The game. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp, swish, swish. This is the way we get through our games. The crowd shouts, Yahoo! The ball soars through the air, then bounce, bounce, bounce. The audience holds its breath. Swish! The ball goes in. We win. Written by Natasha Nimi. Okay, grade 6, that would be all for today. I hope you've learned something and I'll see you again in our next class. Stay safe and God bless. Bye!